Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I have my beautiful Brigitta Hoeferle, and she is a rock star in the NLP community. She's a German female business owner. If you're watching on YouTube, you see she's absolutely beautiful, stunning, rock star. She changes lives. She's the owner and founder of two educational institutions, one for children, the Montessori Cleveland.com. Montessori, we'll get to that a little bit later. That's for children, one for adults, the Center of NLP.com, which, of course, is squad. I've talked about NLP and quite a few of my blog podcasts and how passionate I am about it, how it helps so many people. And that's why we have Brigitta here. And why does she have the two educational facilities? Because the children are innocent by nature. It's the adults around them that shape the growth and potential in each child. Again, she's German by birth, an educator by trade, a speaker and trainee by choice, CEO by passion, and serves as an executive board member on the International Coaching Federation, the ICF, which is rock star. Most of all, though, she's a wife and a mother at heart. And Brigitta, thank you so much for coming on. Can you please just take 1 second and introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad? But first, tell us your favorite color and why.
Oh, first, my favorite color is black.
Wow. Okay. Why is that?
And why? I'm a child of the 80s, and I think I just never grew out of that. I remember my mom saying, will you ever have any, I mean, look at me. If you can see me, I'm wearing something black right now. Black and pearls. That's my brand. That's who I am. And red lipstick. You'll probably never get to see me anything else.
I love it. And I'm going to be 50 in February. So I grew up in the 80s, like smack dab. I graduated in 1990, right? And it's like you have the big hair, don't care a little bit thing going on, even right now with a little Pat Benatar flair on it. I love it. It looks so good. Rocket. So let's get to the origins here of how you built your passion. Because you do a lot of passion. You say you're a CEO by passion. You know, yes. That's fantastic. I've never heard anyone say that, and it's amazing. So I'm going to shut up and let you kind of give this the origins and how things got started.
Well, first of all, Scott, thank you for having me on, and thank you for your service to our country. I'm really blessed to be here this morning. So Brigitta Hoeferle is certainly not, English in any short shape or fashion. I am German through and through, and yet I left Germany to build a Montessori school. And I went to public German school, and I hated it. I hated every second of it, Scott. And, they say, the school system is so much better overseas. Maybe. And they were trying to fit me into an opening that I never fit into. You know how they say that you're trying to kind of hammer in a round peg into a square opening? Right. Yeah, that was me. And they were pounding on it hard. And when I say they, I mean the teachers and the directors. And I was like, coming out of school and going into university and studying social pedagogy and education science, I was like, there's got to be a better way, right? It can't be that all children are going to be learning the same way. That just never made sense to me. And why is it that some kids grow up and be successful and other kids grow up and not be successful? What is up with that? So I was really interested in finding the backgrounds in that. And during my education science studies, I found there's the Montessori education, and I really got intrigued and I learned more. I mean, we covered it like for an hour in our entire, wow, during my entire studies. But on my own terms, I read more on Maria Montessori, and I got really, really intrigued because she took children from the streets in the 1930s that were rebellious, that were frustrated, and she taught them to do meaningful things. And I was like, tell me more. So I read more and more about it. And back then in my early 20s, I decided whenever I have kids, and it wasn't an if, I knew I was going to be a mom at some point. Whenever I have kids, I want my kids to go to Montessori school because I don't ever want them to experience what I experienced. And I did that. And so, fast forward 10 years when I was pregnant, and I was very successful in corporate Germany, I looked at Montessori schools because my unborn child was going to go in a Montessori daycare as I was traveling all around the world for the company that I worked for. They had a 3-year wait list.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, well, I might be onto something here, right? So I never went into teaching after university. I got another degree and it was marketing, and I went into marketing and into sales. So I said, wait a minute, I think I'm onto something here. If there's a 3-year wait list, there's a demand. This was in Midtown Munich, and Munich has, I think, 7 Montessori schools. So let me start creating a Montessori school. I have the credentials. I didn't have the space. And that's where it kind of fell flat. And that's why I am here in the States now, because at the time I told my husband, let's go move to the States. And he's like, wait, we're doing what? I said, if we can't build a Montessori school here, I had 7 kids in my own apartment, small apartment in Midtown Munich. If we can't build it here, let's build it somewhere else. And he's like, okay. So we packed up our bags. I make it sound really easy.
There's a lot of steps. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So fast forward, we built the school during the pandemic, 2020. We moved into a bigger facility, have 125 students now. I'm out of the day-to-day operations, but with my work, or within my work of building that school in Tennessee and building up the business and teaching teachers and training teachers in the Montessori method, I found out, well, first of all, I sucked at teaching teachers in the beginning, like really, really bad. And I had great teachers, great talent come in, but I couldn't keep them. And they left again. And that happened 3 times and 4 times. And I'm like, you guys are dummies. You don't know an opportunity when you see one. Why are you all leaving? Right. When it happened over and over and over, Scott. And suddenly I was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Who's the dummy here? Right. The dummy was me.
Look in that mirror, right?
That was painful.
Right.
That was painful. And that's when I said, okay, there's something that I'm missing. What is it? So I went on that journey, and I found NLP, and I found neuro-linguistic programming. I was like, okay, I suck at communications, but I don't know how to make it better. So let me start here. And that's when I found the Center of NLP, went through all of their trainings, all of their certifications, and became really, really good at communicating. And that really 3x within 1 year, 3x my revenue in the school. So we went from 7 kids to 30 kids, and now we, over the pandemic, to 125 kids. Wow. So it made a huge difference.
And so with Montessori, is it, the way I understand it is they're a little bit more free thinking, but is there discipline still there to keep the children in line?
Yes, because that's one of the things that people kind of get wrong when they say Montessori is just a free for all. Right. So if you think of, you have boundaries, you set up boundaries in everything in life that we do in our business. We got to set up boundaries. Within those boundaries, there is freedom. Sure. But those boundaries got to be set up so the children in the classroom know, okay, so today I have every child has its own curriculum within the curriculum of the school and of the grade. And within that freedom, I got to hit, I got to do my math work. I got to do my language work. I got to do my whatever other areas they have. So they have the freedom, but they have the parameters of, look, you cannot just do, because you're great at math, you cannot just do math all day. Or because you like art, you're not going to draw all day, right? So it also teaches self-discipline. And when we allow the kids to create that at a young age, they become more disciplined adults.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, what a concept.
Right. You know what it sounds a lot like? This place where we live. It's called the United States of America. And it's just where, no matter what anyone's standing on, I served my country. I did 6 deployments, right? So I can say what I want. And I say, listen, man, you have the boundaries, but you have the freedom to do what you want. You came here to do what you want. I'm not on my soapbox. I'm just letting the people out there that know the American dream is still alive, because we're talking to somebody right now that did that. Yeah. So, Brigitta, where do you think your strengths lie?
I don't take no for an answer. when I left, when we packed in 2003, in December 2003, we made up our mind that we're moving to the United States. My husband was a journalist at the time. We had a toddler daughter. She was 16 months at the time. When we moved, she was 18 months, 19 months. And my father-in-law said, oh my gosh, what if you fail? What if this doesn't work out?
What if, right?
And I said, what if it works out?
Right.
And it's not even the what if. There's one of the laws of NLP states there is no failure, only feedback. Hello, I got a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
I got a lot of feedback. But where other people would say, okay, I've fallen down, this is not working, this is just not for me. Let me pack up my bags and go back home. Okay, I failed. I'll go back to corporate Germany, to my old job. I never took that as an answer for me. That was not my truth. So I continued to learn. Look, Scott, I came into a community as a German. I served on the Chamber of Commerce board for education. And I was sitting around a board table with all white men about 25 years older than me. And they're like, what's this chick doing here?
What's she doing here? Right.
What is she doing here? And in the beginning, I had to do a whole lot of explaining why I am here and why am I so passionate. And I think that's another thing. I think passion really exudes.
So you have passion and your persistence. You don't take no. To what extent do you think you appreciate that?
Do I appreciate that?
Yeah.
I think I appreciate that a lot. Some other people might not appreciate it as much. I had a conversation with my 19-year-old daughter. That's the little one that we brought over from Germany.
Sure.
Yesterday. And she said, Mom, you work a whole lot. And I said, yeah, because I love what I do. And she says, do I have to do that? And I said, I don't know. If you want to,
right.
That's up to you.
Choices, man.
You choose.
Yes.
Choices.
Absolutely. So to what extent then do you think you appreciate your limitations that you have?
My limitations show me where there's room to grow.
I love you, man. We're going to speak together. Yes.
One of the things that I tell my clients is, look, if you think you're already there, wherever there is, you're not. It is a constant journey and learning. If you think you're done learning, oh my gosh,
sure.
you haven't even
it's a progression every day in a journey you have to enjoy. You mentioned one thing earlier, but about being positive, like positive doesn't always work, but I know 100% negativity does. So I like to stay kind of neutral and accept the positive when it happens. And when the negative does happen, to stay neutral and work back towards being known what I'm capable of doing. And you said that, and that just blew my mind. So, Brigitta, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's get in that DeLorean with Michael J. Fox or Marty McFly. Let's go back to the 22-year-old Brigitta. What kind of knowledge nuggets, that's what we call them here at Time to Shine today, what kind of knowledge nuggets would you be dropping on her to maybe help her level up, shorten the learning curve, and blast through? Maybe a little bit quicker, because you're out there, you crushed it, but what would you tell her?
I would tell her to believe in herself. The 22-year-old Brigitta didn't have that tenacity. So believe in yourself. Go and do the things that scare you. I had a conversation with a 16-year-old yesterday, and I asked her exactly that question. I said, how do you, because her whole idea was to become more emotionally stable. And I said, how do you do that? And she says, well, being out there and doing the things that are uncomfortable. So I think that's what I would tell the young 22-year-old Brigitta. Go and do more of what makes you uncomfortable.
Love it. I love it. And what I tell with my coaching clients, I basically tell them the same thing is like, I'm not asking them to step out of their comfort zone. I'm asking them to stretch their comfort zone. So it just keeps pushing it like a balloon and just keeps going. And then your comfort zone's huge, but you've accomplished so much in that. I love what you said. So how do you want then your dash remembered, that little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. How do you want Brigitta's dash remembered?
Brigitta, a tool for humanity, never gave up. My dad, I was a little girl. My dad was a missionary, and he always said, "You're a tool for humanity." And I remember looking at him. I must have been like 5 or 6, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
But sure. I just took it.
But like, that's set in your subconscious, and it just kept on multiplying and thriving. I love it. So then what do you think people misunderstand the most about Brigitta?
Oh, that Brigitta's intimidating. No,
I can see that.
Brigitta's just really clear on where she, not just me personally, wants to go, but for my clients. When my clients get it, they're like, she's routing for me. Like, she will go with me through any ditch, through any mud, right? That's tenacity.
Sure.
There is no failure. And sometimes that's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Working through that.
And when you're working with someone one-on-one, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do? You know, during the discovery period.
Yeah. I think probably a good question that I hardly ever get asked, because it's rather obvious. You know, what made you, which steps did you take to get where you are today?
Right. Yeah. Give me some kind of blueprint.
There were a lot of steps that I took. It wasn't just 1 or 2 or 3. There were many, many thousands of steps. And I took many steps back before I was able to step forward. Good.
You know, I'm glad to hear that you did, actually, because that means something's right. And so then what keeps Brigitta up at night?
Oh, many ideas.
Yeah.
What else can I do? You know, who else can I have an impact on? How else can I be out there and make a difference? You know, first I thought I make a difference in children's lives. And then I saw, well, actually, it's not the children that need the assistance. It's the adults around them that screw them up. So actually, it's the adults around them.
You think? I see it all the time. Yeah.
So how else can I make an impact? And honestly, you know, NLP, love it or hate it, people ask me all the time, what is NLP? And NLP is, people think it's a misconception, just like Montessori, that there's no boundaries, that NLP is a manipulation tool. Wrong.
No. Nope.
And the difference between inspiration and manipulation is intent. That's it. It's the intention behind it. And when you come from an intention, and all of the people that I work with, it must be a win-win-win. That's the intention. Most people that are manipulating, they're only in for one win, and that's for whom? Themselves, right?
Yes,
that's egocentric. Yes. But it's got to be a win for you, a win for me, and a win for the greater good. I think the greater good is all of your listeners here. Right. Right.
Absolutely.
The impact that we can have.
Loved it. Love it. So let's take, and it's so true. What you just said is still marinating. That's beautiful. So let's take out of our equation, out of this questions equation, anything electronic from your iPad or iPhone or computer. What are 3 things that Brigitta can't live without?
My kids, my husband.
So we got family. What are other 2 things?
I like a good bottle of champagne.
There you go. Very good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to add community in for you, because you're so community oriented. I don't think you can live without. I think that you grew through COVID, but I think it just crushed you, a part of that being like, because it did me. I mean, I love getting on stages and rocking stages and just hanging out. I'm not like a go to the bar person, but I like to hang out, talk to people, and then go. You know, that's one thing. So what is your definition of a life well lived?
Definitely have an impact on other people's lives, helping other people reach what they want. going with the Zig Ziglar quote, when I help enough people get what they want, I know it's going to come back to me.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a living example of that.
Love it. I love it. And squad, we are going to take my good friend Brigitta through our leveling up lightning round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Time to shine today, podcast varsity squad. We are back, and Brigitta, we have a leveling up lightning round. You and I could literally talk an hour on each one of these questions, but you have 5 seconds with no explanations. You ready?
Ready.
They all can be answered that way. So let's rock.
Okay.
All right. So what is the best leveling up advice Brigitta's ever received?
Believe in yourself.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
My calendar.
I love it. Other than Center of NLP.com and also TimeToShineToday.com, my shameless plug, what other website does Brigitta like to go to level up?
The Culture Mastery.
Beautiful. We'll put that in the show notes. Awesome. You see me, I'm walking down the street. You're like, Fergie just doesn't, he looks like he's in his doldrums. What book could you be handing me?
The Four Agreements.
Yeah, Tom, baby. Love it. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Heart.
Here you go. What was your New Year's resolution?
Supporting 1 million people.
Love it. Love it. Chess or checkers?
Chess.
Oh, wow. Okay. Smarty pants. So if you could, and don't lie to me on this one, young lady, if you could stay one age physically for the rest of your life.
37.
Okay. Thank you for putting a 3 on the front, because I say 32. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, a lot easier to get out of bed. No matter how good I take care of myself, it's still getting out of bed a little bit slower now. Your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time or money to?
The International Coaching Federation.
I see it, baby. Okay, last question. You can elaborate on this one a little bit. But what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s.
Yes, 80s. I was going to say you better.
Depeche Mode all the way.
Gosh. So much happened. I mean, you phased out disco and you kind of brought rap into the scene, like the Run DMC Beastie Boys stuff, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
then you had the Irish Invasion with U2, the British Invasions, like the 1980s version of British Invasions, with George Michael and everything. But then you also had the Big Hair Don't Care, the glam rock, everything. You listen to music now, Brigitta. There's so many hooks that they take from the songs from the 80s and they put them in songs of today. Like Aha's Take on Me is used in like 4 songs these days. Like Pitbull used it, It's crazy what the 80s did. And it's thank you for saying that. And when we come to Atlanta, I have to be like connect. It's for sure. But let's get back to business. How can we find you?
NLP, Center of NLP.com, Center of NLP.com.
Gotcha.
Very easy.
Love
or
it.
even easier, if you can spell my name, Brigitta Hoeferle, just Google me. There's only one Brigitta Hoeferle in the entire world on Google, and that's me.
Love it. I love there is. There's so unique. And Squad, what I really think is cool about our website right now is they has like these 3 drop downs, know, like, and trust. And it's like you can just navigate through it. And those are the 3 things that we're always taught. The people like to do business, they know, like, and trust. And she has the drop downs of knowing, like their courses or videos. And then liking is her about page, get to know her. And then trust is like their faculties, her credentials, her education. That's freaking awesome. And Squad, we literally just had a free masterclass. We didn't dig too deep on the NLP side. And I did that for a reason, because I want to make a warm introduction to Brigitta for you. She wants us to all have the freedoms with parameters and discipline, but have the freedoms to really grow and thrive. She lived her life very curiously as a young person. She was not somebody that really could fit that round object into a square hole. She really thrived because she stayed curious her whole time. And I'm going to bring this up again, that positive doesn't always work, but 100% of the time, negative doesn't work. So stay neutral, like we like to say. She'll tell you that there's no failure, only feedback. And she'll say that her limitations, if you have them, or what you might call your failures, means you have room to grow. learn from them, fail forward, move forward. She wants to remind you and maybe a younger self of you to believe in yourself, be tenacious. And like I got from my good friend Leah Woodford, get your ask in gear and ask for help where needed. Okay, she's going to be remembered as a tool for humanity and that she never gave up. And she got the tool for humanity from her beloved father, which I think is just awesome. And she's always going to be someone that has an impact on the world. And she said something that absolutely blew my mind. The difference between inspiration and manipulation is intent. And that is something I want you to read over, say it to yourself. Are you manipulating or are you inspiring people? Okay, squad. So Brigitta, thank you so much for coming on. You've earned your varsity letter, squad, here at Time to Shine today. You level up your health, you level up your wealth, you're beautiful, you keep yourself leveled up, you love people, and we love you back. Thank you so much for coming. I can't wait to collaborate in the future.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Bye now.